Hello everybody, this video is going to be a list of all the globals that are currently supported in VirtualBlox. So, let's just make a script here. So we're going to make a script and we're going to open it up. And first of all, well, here's one global that we already have, and it's print. You can print stuff. That's that's how that works. Let's open up the output here. We all know what print does. As you can see, it prints a string. But let's get into some actual other stuff, obviously. So we've also got. All right. Okay. Let's I'm gonna go down a list here. So number one, game. We've got game global variable. So we can do game.workspace.baseplate destroy, and then the base plate gets destroyed. All right, number two, game. We got the game global variable. It's the same thing. It's just uppercase. All right, number three, instance. We've got the instance global variable. Let me make sure that my microphone is working. Yes, it is. Okay. I'm glad they actually added that pause button back to OBS. Anyway, we've got instance, so we can do local part equals instance.new part.parent equals workspace. Oh, so here's another global, workspace. And whenever we hit play, look, there we go. There's a part. Look at that part. There's a freaking part. Okay, but anyway, so now we've got print on the list. That's number 4. We got workspace. That's number 5. Then we got workspace, which is the same thing. I'll just hit play just to show you that it exists. There it is. And then we've got. Let's get into some other stuff. So let's say we want to change the color of the base plate. Well, we can do workspace.baseplate equals color equals color3.new. Now in this there is no let me show you what I'm trying to say. So since this is 2016, since this is a 2016 emulator, there was no from RGB back then. So whenever you do print, whenever you do for I equals 1, or no, for IV pairs color 3 do print I and failed to compile aborting. I think I typed that wrong. Oh, I didn't put in. Now we do this. We've got. Wait, what? I guess there is from RGB. Alright, I guess I forgot to remove that. Okay. Well, yeah, there you go. There's from RGB for now. Well, anyway, what I was saying was, since this is 2016, there's not supposed to be from RGB, but apparently there is. But anyway, so we can do. The trick back in the day was whenever you're using .new, if you don't want to do from 0 to 1, then you will. Let me put a space here so it doesn't glitchy. I still have to fix that text editor glitch. Well, the trick is, if you want to have for example red and a little bit of blue, you put 255 divided by 255, and then 100 divided by 255, and then 0. So that's how you do. That's how you do the binary or the hexadecimal or the RGB values with .new. And then whenever you hit play, look at that. That's orange. Interesting. I did not mean to put green. I put blue instead. Or no, I put green instead of blue. I'm not good with color values. If you can't tell. But yeah. I'll have to fix that little thing here. Is it a feature to remove something? I don't think it is. Whatever. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have? We also have brick color. So, workspace.baseplate.brick color equals brick color dot random. And then let's start. And oh, look at that. It's green. And oh, look at that. It's crimson. Oh, look at that. It's grayish. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I really like that default function that they give. All right, number 9. We've got vector 3, the vector 3 library, or the vector 3 constructor, whatever the hell you want to call it. So baseplate.position equals vector 3.new 10 100 10. Let's just do that. And we hit play. Wait a minute. Name expected near EOF. I think. Okay, let me try something. I think I might have not saved it entirely. There we go. And now, yeah, the script editor doesn't save. It saves every few seconds. So sometimes whenever you're typing, it'll just save a fragment of what you typed. That's not a good way to explain it. Basically, every few seconds it saves the whole script. So if you are done with a script, you want to close it because then it saves it immediately. So you don't want it to be like saving. You don't want it to save something, and then you hit play right away. While you're like right after you just typed, because then it might save like this. It might save half of what you typed, basically, because it doesn't save the whole thing yet. But anyway, that's just how that works. But anyway, there's the vector 3. There's vector 3. Okay. So what else do we have? We've also got table number 10. Table. The table global. So we can. Let's actually use the command bar for this. So we've got table dot create. We got table dot create, and then we can put 10 and like the letter A or something. A equal. I don't even know if I made this yet. Let's see. Yes, I did. All right. All right. So then we print A1. And there's A. So it's a table with 10 A values. Excuse me. And then we can also table dot unpack A print table dot unpack, and look at that, we got all those A's. So that's how that works. That's the table global. Now, number 11, we've got pcall. This is a very useful one. So basically, you can prevent errors from stopping your script. If you know Lua, you already know this. But let's go to the script editor because it looks nicer. So let's say we got local success error equals pcall function. Now, while function might look like a global, it's not. It's actually a keyword. So anyway, pcall And then we're gonna do error. Oh, here's another global. Here's error. This is a global. So let's say like FU. That's the error. So normally, let me cut this. And okay, normally if you say error FU and then try to print after it, what happens? Well, it doesn't do anything at all, apparently. That's very strange. What the fuck? Interesting. That's not normal. Maybe it didn't save completely again. Okay. Let's try this. There we go. FU. There's the error. Okay. So, and after that, there is no, for some reason, there's no print. Why is that? Well, that's because errors stop everything. Errors will make your whole script break if you don't handle them right. But now, it did not save my... it did not save my clipboard. Okay, that sucks. Whatever, anyway, let's just do it again. Success, error, pcall, function, error, FU, end. And then now we're gonna print success, error. And normally this error would break everything, but whenever oh wait, shit. Oh wait. Okay, no, that's saved. Alright, that's good. Normally this wouldn't work, but it works. Look at that. We got false, and that means that it didn't succeed. And then we've got the error right here, FU. Look at that. Sorry, I was just drinking some tea. Anyway, pcall, very, very useful global. Alright, what else do we have? We got type. Ooh, this one's really good. This one's extremely good. So what this one does is it allows you to print the type of the value that you pass into it. So let's say we pass in a number. Let's put in 1. What does that print? Prints number. Look at that. And then let's say we put in nothing. Actually, I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's try it out. Nil. Look at that. It prints nil because there's nothing. Alright. If you put in some words, if you put in the word word, what does it print? Print string. Table. If we put in a table, what does it print? String. It didn't save. Okay. String. Okay, look. If we put in a table, it prints table. You get the point. It's really useful it's really useful for error catching, because if somebody passes in the wrong kind of variable to your function, you don't want it to just be like, oh, I might as well just use this, and then the whole thing just breaks. You don't want it to be like that. So you want it to look at the variable and say, well, that's wrong. Not having that, and then it just it just closes. If it returns, then it won't break the entire script. Basically, error catching is very important. This is apparently this is also going to be a Lua tutorial. I guess you get a little extra with this video. Okay. Some people might not even know what VirtualBlox is, but at least I'm teaching people how Lua works. That's cool. But anyway, what else do we have? We got Vector 2, number 13. Vector 2 is the exact same thing as Vector 3, except it just has 2 axes. X and Y. Now, vector 2 is useful for GUI elements. So let's say print vector 2 at new 2 3. So what this means is it goes down. It's like it's 2 pixels to the right and 3 pixels down. It's always in that order. So as you can see, look, it printed 2 3. So that's vector 2. Okay, what else do we have? Excuse me. We've also got UDIM2. UDIM2, or we've got UDIM and UDIM2. Man, I really gotta fix that script editor bug. Whenever you're at the end of the script editor, it like starts putting characters at the end. Whenever you're on, like right here, it puts it there. That's not supposed to happen. Anyway, UDIM2, UDIM M2 at new 0000. So how this works is it has a scale X, scale X, offset X, scale Y, offset Y. And what this means is the scales are a percentage of the higher of the parent GUI frame, and the offsets are pixel offsets that will be the same for no matter what element they're under. And the same thing goes for UDIM, except there is no other axis. It's just scale and offset. So that's how that works. We've also got weight. Here's the weight global. Okay, print 1, weight 1, print 2, weight 2, print 3. Let's see what this does. 1, 2, and then it waits 2 seconds and prints 3. That's pretty self-explanatory. So there's the there's the weight global. Then we've got pairs. So this is a really useful one. Local to A equals. We're gonna make a table, and we're gonna let me put a space here so it stops doing that. We're gonna put in like 1 equals 1, 2 equals 2, 3 equals 3. And then I'm going to do, if it will let me type correctly. I need to fix this text editor, man. Okay. If we do for I, and that's the name of the index that we want. That's what we want the index name to be. And then comma V, that's the name of the value. And then we're going to do in pairs. Here's the pairs global. And it's a function. The pairs global is a function. So we put in that table, and we do and then we're gonna print IV. So whenever you do this, 1 2 3 or 1 2 or 1 3 2, since there's these aren't numbered, they're just names. There's not really an order to them. That's what you would use iPairs for. As you can see, here's the key, and then there's the value. Key. That's why it's called pairs. It's for key value pairs. So it prints it gives you the key and the value. So anyway, now let's get on to iPairs. So with iPairs, this won't do anything correctly. This will just, with iPairs, these named keys won't work. So we're just gonna remove them. and we're gonna turn this table into an array. This table's an array now. I mean, well, technically it's still a table, but we can call it an array because it looks like one. So what happens whenever we do this? Well, it will print 1, 2, 3. And what's happening here is, since it's printing, the reason it's printing 2 is because I is the 1 index on 1, and 2 is the 2 index on 2. It would be the same thing if I changed this to 4, 5, 6. Let's do it again. So as you can see, 4, 5, 6, and then we got 1, 2, 3. Excuse me, because that's the index, not the value. The value is the v. So that's I pairs, and I pairs will skip over any name keys. So like, you do 1 equals 1, it will just skip over this. Yeah, see, it won't do that. That's because it's I pairs, and that, I think that stands for index pairs. I'm not entirely sure, but that would make sense to me. Anyway, we've also got enum, the enum global. This is gonna be a long video. Oh my god. Okay. We're not even halfway done either. Jesus Christ. I forgot how I just realized how much this supports. And the thing is this game is completely safe too. Like, people can't, unless they somehow hack, or if somebody finds an exploit in it, then the game is doomed. But for now, that's not a problem, because I made it very, very secure. There are very few ways to actually break through this wrapper. But excuse me. Anyway, we've got the enum global. So what the enum global is it's just a way to do enum values. So let's say we do workspace.baseplate.material equals enum.material dot neon. And we hit play. It does not work because I didn't wait for it to save correctly. Okay. Now the base plate is neon, as you can see, and a cool thing about enum values of instances is that you can also put strings. You can also give it a string, and that will work, as you can see. Also, stuff like glass and force fields didn't exist in 2016, so if you try to put in that, it will just error unknown enum. Excuse me. Okay, so what else do we have? Math. Alright, here's one of the most important libraries in Lua, the math library. So print math.random 1 to 6. We're going to print a random number between 1 and 6, including and between 5, 4, 3, 2. Why is it going down? Why was? All right, now it's random. This is the funny thing with random numbers is that they never seem like they're random. That's funny. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, and you know what? If you're a Terry Davis fan, you're gonna just love that. Whatever. Anyway, let's see. So we did the math library. We've got a lot. I'm pretty sure we've got like a lot of stuff in the math library. So like for I in pairs math do print I That's an O, not an I. We've got, alright, we've got a lot of stuff. Alright, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. Look at all those functions. Lerp. What the fuck? Lerp. What is a lerp? What the fuck is lerp, dude? It sounds like a... It sounds like the name of somebody in like a freaking... never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. Okay. Anyway, what else? C-frame. C-frames are very useful. They let you do they're what a C-frame is a well, it's a let me try to describe this. It's a position value and a rotation matrix in one value. And what this means is that you can do crazy shit like let's for example let's rotate the base plate and then move it by that rotation. So workspace base plate C-frame equals C-frame dot angles. I don't know if I put this in or not, but we'll see. C-frame dot angles. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees on the y-axis. So, oh my god, I fucking that error, that glitch. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, now 90 math.rad. So this angles, C-frame.angles works with radians, not degrees. So if you want to put in a degree, you got to put in math.rad for math.radians. So there we go. But the good thing is that radians and radians and degrees both have the same 0 value, so you can just put in a 0 if you want a 0. But C-frame.angles times C-frame.new vector 3.new. Let's move it 10. Let's move it like 40. Actually, just fuck it. Let's move it 400. Why not? And let's move it 200, like 100 here, just in case I put in the wrong value. All right, let's wait for it to save. And now let's hit play. And did that work? I don't think that worked. Oh wait, yeah, it did. Because it went up. It went up. Yeah, it went up because it's... Well, no, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know how to use C-frames. But the point is that we can... It's a global. That's the point. It's a global. Alright, we've got elapsed time. So, elapsed time. We've also got elapsed time. We also got elapsed time. It does the same thing. But what elapsed time does is it prints the time in seconds since Roblox opened. So, apparently it's been 1,905 seconds since I've opened the game. And then whenever you have it opened again, now it's been 10 seconds. That seems wrong. 5 seconds. Okay. Alright, well, that's just how it is. So that's how that works. And the sad thing is that Roblox deprecated that for some reason. But anyway, we've got warn. Here's a really useful thing. If you want to tell somebody that something's wrong but not break the script, then you do warn. Something is fucked up. Hopefully I don't get banned for... You know what? Let's say messed up. Yeah, let's say messed up. And look at that. Something's messed up. That's how that works. That's what warn does. What else do we have? Ray. We got Ray. Now Ray, you can you know what, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like dealing with rays right now, but ray.new is what you would do with that. You would do ray.new, and then you put in a vector 3.new 0 0 0 0, and then you put in so that's the point, and then you put in a direction. But I don't know how to make a look vector, so anyway, string. We got string, so we can do string dot split hello by let's do 1 2 3, and then we got that string there, and then we're gonna split by comma, and then we're going to for I v in I pairs do and print, and we're gonna print the v, the value, print the value, and wait for it to save. And then 1 2 3. Look at that. It split the string by the commas, and that's one of the many useful features in the string library. Let me start a new video. Save. All right. Okay. So there's that. We got require. Ooh, here's a good one. Here's a really good one. We got require. So if we want, we can make a module script here. Make a module. Where the fuck is the module? There's the module. And then inside the module, we're gonna make a function module dot say hello end. And inside there, we're gonna say hi. And then in here, we're gonna do local module equals script dot parent. Actually, require. We're gonna do require script dot parent wait for child module script. And then do module say hello. And let's save it and hit play. Look at that. Hi. So we can require code from other scripts using module scripts, and that's another really useful global. We got color sequence and number sequence. I don't want to do those right now. We've got spawn and spawn. All right, these are really useful. This is one of my favorites actually. Spawn. So let's say that we have one single script. Let's get rid of this script here. We have one single script, and we have two loops. While true, do, and also always make sure you wait. In fact, let's put wait on here. And what that does is every time that it does while, whenever it checks the value, it will call wait, so it will accidentally also wait. So that's why that works. That's why you can do that. But while wait, and then print hi. And then while wait one, do print by. And whenever we do this, you'll notice that it is only doing hi. Why is that? It's because it's blocking the other one. It's not leaving the first loop, so it can't do the second loop. Well, what we can do is we can spawn, or spawn, either one works, spawn function end. And then we can indent this correctly. And now, after it saves, hi, bye. Look at that. It's doing both. Why does that work? And that's because this actually uses the Roblox scheduler. This uses the built-in Roblox scheduler. This is not a Lua global. This is a Roblox global. So their scheduler is handling this loop while the rest of the script runs, and that's how you use spawn. It's a very, very, very useful global. Anyway, okay, just got spawn tick. What tick does is it's some kind of, it waits until some kind of Unix time stamp bullshit. I don't fucking know. Print tick. It's basically the same thing as elapsed time, except it just waits until it's the same as it does. I think it's since Unix epochs. I don't know I don't know what that means, but that's what the timestamp is. I think it's like I think it's like the date. I think it's the date in a double value, but whatever. There's tick. Number range, I'm not doing that. Font, I'm not doing that. Rect, I'm not doing that. Unpack, we've already seen unpack in the table global, but just for the sake of just for the sake of showing it, I'll do 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Look at that. So there's the unpack. Unpack toString. What toString does is very simple. It just turns something into a string. So let's say well, I mean, if you print a number, it already prints that, but toString, what could we use toString for? Oh yeah, let's do toString. Oh, somebody's messaging me. Hold on a second. Alright, I'm back. So let's say that we want to get the memory address of a table for some reason. Let's put on a table. We can do toString table, and then it will print the table memory address. That's kind of you can use that for like an identifier, but just a warning, sometimes, like, it's very unlikely, but there is a chance that it might there's a chance that it might actually just use the same memory address after that table's been destroyed or garbage collected. So it's best to use tables as as table keys instead of using the memory address string as table keys. So yeah. Alright, there's also toNumber. Let's say we have a number in the form of a string. So we have 1.2 in a string, and we can't add it to another number unless we do toNumber with that string plus 0.8. So whenever we hit play, we get 2. Look at that. So there's toNumber. Then we've got, alright, we're getting into the really cool shit. We've got load library. If anybody remember load library, I do. I remember whenever Roblox fucking removed it and broke all the goddamn gear in the catalog and just fucking scammed us out of a bunch of money. I remember that. But anyway, they also destroyed the gear fighting community with that as well, so that's fun. But anyway, enough of my old man grumpy bullshit. Let's do load library. I need to make that blue whenever you type it. So anyway, load library. Let's do a nice one like RBX utility. This is a really useful one because it comes with this thing. It comes with this this function called create. So rbx utility equals load library. We're gonna do local create equals rbx utility dot create. So now we're gonna create something. So create, and this has a kind of a weird syntax. We do create model, and then we put in a table, and we're gonna do name equals test, parent equals workspace, and then let's add something to that table, that model. Create part. They're gonna create part size equals vector 3.new 555, and then we're gonna let's add something else. Create let's say object value. Actually, no, string value. String value. Value equals high. Whenever we do this, and wait for it to save, and go. Look at that! It made a module. Look at that, or it made a model, and everything that we just did was inside of it. So look, we got the little value that says hi, and we got the part. It's really useful. Load library is very nice, and it's very useful. It's got a lot of useful stuff, like you can make custom. You can make scrolling frame. You could make scrolling frames before scrolling frames were were in Roblox. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. It's just they apparently didn't think it was very important, so they removed it for some reason. And on the dev forum, you might actually see my username of me arguing with them over the change. That was a long time ago, man. Sorry. All right. See what else we have. All right, we did load library. All right, here's error. We already did error. Let's delete this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save this. Why not? Actually, whatever. Oh yeah, actually, here. You know what? Fuck it. Let me show you something. I recently made it so you can actually save models. So I'm gonna do script, save it, and then we can insert from file. I can insert from file. Apparently I can't insert from file anymore. Alright, well, let's see what's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Okay. It's probably because it's not activated or something. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. Alright, that'll be a note for me to do later. If you want, we can just open it like this. Script. I did not type that correctly. Script.rbxm. There we go. And there we go. Look at that. We've got the script. The same script we just wrote. So let me delete that real quick. Okay. So we already showed off load library. We got error. We already showed you that. All right. Here's delay. So whenever you're so delay, and then we also have delay. What delay does is you can actually schedule a task to be done in a few seconds. So let's say we want in 5 seconds we want to print 5 seconds have passed. Now this is not non-blocking, so it's just like spawn. So if we want, we can do print no seconds have passed before it. Somebody messaged me. Okay, so alright, then we wait. And look, no seconds have passed, and then we wait 5 seconds. 5 seconds have passed. Look at that. Now this is very useful because you can wait a certain amount of time and do something and have the script not have to handle that at all. It's all handled by the Roblox scheduler. So that's a really useful one. Delay. What else we have? YP call. YP call is the same thing as P call. It's from an older time whenever they had like, I think it was like some kind of limit that prevented people from using P call in a certain amount of times, but I think they removed that limit now. Anyway, YP call shared. All right, here's a really important thing. This game actually uses shared. But there's a jailed shared that is used for scripts in the game. So shared. What shared does is it allows you to put in keys in a shared table that all scripts have access to. So let's say we say hi equals 1. And then let's make another script. Oh wait, I forgot, I need to add that. Let's make another script. And we're gonna wait 1 second so that we know that it's in the table, and then we're gonna print shared.hi. 1 second. Oh wait, I didn't wait for it to save. Hold on. Okay. 1 second. Look at that. It's in. It printed something that it was put into a table in another script. And there are some limitations to this. For example, there are these things called script identities. So, for example, the command bar won't have access to the same shared table. So if I print shared.hi in the command bar, it will be nil because it's not the same shared table. And that's really a security feature. That's security, because you don't want like plugins to have the same shared table as regular scripts, because then everything's gonna go to shit. But anyway, there's the shared table. Version. What else? Okay, version. Print version. Print version. Wait. Version. Let's see. Version. Oh, it's a Roblox global version. So it prints the version of Roblox. Generation, version, patch, and commit. So print version. I based this off of a version of a real client from 2016. So that's that number. That's not the real number, but I just put that there just for the sake of, I guess, for like nostalgia's sake. I don't know how many people are going to be nostalgic over a string value that gets returned by the version global, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, we've got assert. So assert, what assert does is it will error if the value that you pass into it is false. So let's put in true, and then error occurred. And whenever we hit this will not error, but if we do false, error occurred. That's how that works. So, alright, there's assert GC info. I don't even know how that works. I'm not going to do that. Load string. Here is a really good one. So, load string normally cannot be ran on the client, but here it does, because you know what? I kind of overwrote it. It uses my interpreter instead of Roblox's interpreter. So, it's Lua, not Lua U. But anyway, if we go here to server script service, we have a value here, or we have a property here called load string enabled. Now, if we try to do load string without that, so print 1, load string is not available. But if we enable this right here and then do it, load string print 1. Now we're putting a second parentheses. Well, the reason that we do this is because it returns an executable function. So we're executing what it returns. So hit run, and then look at that. We printed 1, and we printed a string, or we ran a string, which is very nice. And then we can also, if we want, we can load string. If we want, let's go to a script and do something. Let me delete this one. If we want, we can load string while wait 1 do print local 0 a equals 0 print a, and then a equals a plus 1 end, and I think that will work. If we want, we can make an executable and then we can spawn that executable, and that way we can print non-blocking after it, and it will still do it. Just wait a second and then go non-blocking 0 1 2 3. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Excuse me. Alright, load string, that's a very good one. Select, I don't know how select works, but we've got select region 3, int 16, faces. All that faces does is it's just a list of true or false values for which faces you want, of like which face of a cube you want. Color sequence key point, physical properties, vector 3 int 16, vector 2 int 16, get meta table. Alright, here is probably one of the biggest, one of the coolest things is that even though this wrapper uses meta tables, you can make meta tables, and it's allowed, because we can easily identify which meta table is not safe based on the fact that the wrapper uses user data and not actual tables. So we can use real data types to identify user submitted variables and built-in variables, or unwrapped variables, which you might want to call it. So let's make a meta table. So local t, here's like a little my habit of making meta tables is I call the table t and I call the meta table m. So we got t and m, and then we do set meta table t m. Excuse me. So set meta table, and then we're gonna make the meta table. We're gonna give it some stuff. So m index equals function and then we're gonna return. Alright, here's what we do. Function, so that it will pass it whenever we do this index, it will return the or it will pass in arguments of the table, this I'll call it this, and then we've got the key. The key is what the we're indexing. Well, not what we're indexing. It's what we're trying to index the thing with. So let's say that we have. Let's say, okay, we're gonna return toNumber key. So what this will do is, if we are to if we like index, let's say we index T1 plus 2, well, then it will print 3 because it returned a number. It returns a number of the index that we passed in. Actually, wait. That would have been a number anyway. Let's put in a string. So let's put in a string 4, for example. 6. Look at that. It turns it into a string, or it turns it into a number. And then we can also do new index. If you might notice, this is actually how I made this game. New index. Meta tables are very useful because it lets you define a lot of stuff, and it lets you define a lot of custom behavior. So custom, or this key value. So what this does is it will let you set a value. It'll let you set an index. So whenever you do like for example, T high equals 1, it will let's make a new table. Let's call it new table. And then we're gonna do new key equals value, and then we're gonna print new.high. Look at that, it printed 1. We set a value of this table, and it set a value of this table because we overrode the meta table new index meta method. Also, we've got another global called getMetaTable, and what this does is it will get the meta table of something that already has a meta table. So get meta table t print unpack, or you know what, actually meta table, we're gonna do 4i in pairs, get meta table t do, and we're gonna print I. And look at that, it printed the indexes that we have on the meta table. But if you don't want if you don't want people to be able to access your meta table, if you want to lock it, then all you gotta do is go here, do meta table, and then give it a string. This meta table is locked. Now whenever we wait, oh shit, okay. Meta table. This meta table is locked. Now whenever we do it, let's see what happens whenever we print it now. This meta table is locked. We can't access the meta table anymore. And also, we can't set the meta table either. Oh god, I gotta cut these fucking grunts out. Alright. We can't set the meta table either. So look, if we set meta table T, and then let's just give it an empty table. It will throw an error because I can't change a protected meta table. Which is very useful. But yeah, that's how that works, and that's how the game works. That's how my wrapper works. So if you are ever interested in making a game like this, just look into meta tables. In fact, actually, I might even make mine open source soon. I'm really considering it because it's a really useful module, and I want to help the community a little bit with making user-submitted code games because there's not enough of them yet. Anyway, so now what else do we have? Alright, we got set meta table. We got the _G table. That's the same thing as shared. But well, it's not the same thing, but it's close to it. Then we got next. That's how you do. That's like stuff for tables, for table iteration. That's like kind of how iPairs and stuff works. Except, it's I don't even really know how to use it, so I'm not going to try to explain it. What else do we have? Print identity. Alright, here's a really cool one. So, we're gonna print identity. And whenever we print the identity, it's gonna print the identity of the current script context. And what that means is it will print the number associated with what kind of, like, where the script is running. So like the command bar will have its own identity, the plugins will have its own identity, scripts in the game will have their own identity. So look, if I hit play, the current identity is 2. That's the identity of regular scripts. But if I print identity in the command bar, the current identity is 5 because the identity of the command bar is 5. So that's how that works. That's that global. We got user settings. User settings is just some user settings is, it's for whenever you hit play, user settings is for this. That's what these are. That's user settings. We got OS. Let's print for I in pairs OS do print I. We got time and diff time. So look, if we do print os.time, we got the time. And unfortunately in 2016 there was no os.clock. But yeah. Alright, what else do we have? Coroutine. Alright, here's coroutine. So coroutine is kind of like spawn, except it uses except it's actually a Lua. It's a Roblox library, but it uses Lua threads. So coroutine local thread equals coroutine dot create function function and then print 1. Actually, let's do while true, wait, 1, do count equals 0, print count equals count plus 1, end. So then after we have that thread, we can do coroutine dot resume thread, and then we can print something after it to show that it's not blocking. And no block, and then it does it anyway. Alright, cool. Alright, the script has stopped. Okay, so that's coroutine. We got settings. Settings will actually mess around with these. So look, let's say that we want to access the select color. We're gonna do settings. We're gonna do print settings, call settings, and then we're gonna do studio and select color. And there we go, there's the select color. Although it's not really well, if we change it, let's change this value to 0 and then do it again. Print settings dot studio select color. There it is. See, it messes around with these. That's how you access those. So that's the settings global. Then we got raw set, raw get, raw set, raw length, and raw len, and then raw equal. Basically, all those do is they let you bypass metatables on tables, and they let you actually set values of tables without having to deal with the metatable associated with it. So you can bypass metatables, basically. But yeah, that's all the globals in Roblox, or in VirtualBlox. I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video. If you're looking forward to new supported features in the game, then let me know in the comments. And if you have any globals that you want me to add that you did not see, like for example new proxy, then just let me know in the comments if you want me to add it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.